another episode of Elevating Property Management. I'm Colin Douthit, and I am honored to be here today with Kay Kay Singh. Kay Kay, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you very much, Colin, for having me on your show.
Yeah, and as we've talked a little bit about your background, your history in investing, it's quite diverse, and you've shown a lot of you've grown a lot in terms of number of units and what the asset class that you're managing. Can you give us a little bit of background on your real estate investing, kind of where you started and where you're at now?
Well, I came to United States as a Microsoft certified system engineer back in 2000,
Hmm.
and I've been in the gas station business for all these 20 years.
Okay.
And I got into real estate by accident. We bought a portfolio of 40 single family houses from
Okay.
father and son. His father had 33 and the son had 7, so we bought both of them out.
Okay.
And I started managing myself to learn this business.
Hmm.
So I soon realized after acquiring these 40 single family that this is not something I would like to uh, keep doing forever. So I decided to invest passively in multifamily.
Hmm.
And from there, I kept investing passively as well as actively now for the last 2.5 years.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. And so just so everybody understands, when you're saying passive versus active, can you give the difference between both of those when you're investing?
Sure. When investing passively means I was investing my money only. So I was not doing anything. I was not finding the deal. I was not underwriting the deals. I wasn't managing the deals. I wasn't raising capital for it. So I was just sending them a check and getting cash flow out of it.
Okay.
But for the last 2.5 years, I've been on the active side, means I'm a part of the asset management team. And also, I have raised capital for these deals.
Okay. And so those are both the different roles within syndications that you've had essentially, right?
Correct. As a general partner, and there are two components: general partners and the limited partners. Limited partners don't do anything, they're passive.
Hmm.
General partners do everything, and
Yep.
they can pick to do one thing, two things, or everything. So they're general partners.
Okay, great. Starting back with that portfolio of 40 single families that you bought, was this over out in Indiana as well, kind of where you live now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you bought these 40 single families. You'd had no investment real estate before that, right? Unless it was a property that you owned for like one of your businesses.
Gas
Gas
station
station.
property.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
gas station and laundromat properties.
Uh-huh.
Other than that, we had never had a rental.
Hmm. Okay.
we,
So
we didn't know we didn't know anything about the rentals, but
yeah.
this guy was from our community. He offered me this portfolio at our church,
Uh-huh.
and he wanted it to sell it to me because he had sold this portfolio twice, and the guys who bought it, they couldn't get the financing, and he knew that I was able to get the financing, so he offered me, and he offered to train me for a year as well.
Okay.
But when we started, I found that he was old school. He
Uh-huh.
was doing everything with the pen and pencil, and he was sitting there from 9 to 5. I said no. At that time, I was also managing a gas station and a laundromat. So
Okay.
I said, this is something I can't do. I have to focus on my other stuff as well. I had 8 gas stations, so I
Wow.
said, okay, no, I have to figure out some other way to do it. So I started learning from bigger pockets online. I downloaded a bunch of forms, signed up for some programs, etc., and learned the business. And after 10 days, I did let him go.
After 10 days.
Hmm.
Oh wow, that didn't take long.
Yeah, no, I mean, he was old. I mean, he's a really nice guy, very honest guy, but he was doing everything with a pen and pencil. I couldn't
Hmm.
do that.
Yeah, no, I mean that's where we live now, and I mean, you came in as a certified systems engineer, so technology was probably something you were wanting to leverage to make your life easier. Kind of that was your
And
background.
I have done that in my other businesses as well.
Uh-huh.
So I signed up with the software management, property management software company, and uploaded all my properties and made my life very easy.
Mm-hmm.
So I was only spending 9 hours a week on managing these, and I was also managing my laundromat and the gas station at the same time.
Mm-hmm. As opposed to 9 hours a day managing the properties.
9 hours a week.
No, but the old owner was
Yeah,
nine
the old
hours.
owner was, yeah, he was nine. He was spending 9 hours a day.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's not the way to do it. So you just kind of jumped right in, 2 feet in. So then you're starting to manage properties and deal with tenants. What was your learning experience like? That was that a big was that a shock to you? Kind of a culture shock, just dealing with the tenants and kind of what tenants can be like sometimes. I mean, obviously there was a steep learning curve.
Not really, because I was very familiar with this class of people,
Oh,
because I
laundromats and gas stations.
had
Yes.
gas stations and I had dealt with them for years.
Uh
So
huh.
I knew how they come up with money, how much money they have, and how
Mm-hmm.
their spending habits and all that. So I was very much aware of it, but I was little rigid as well. I was a rigid landlord. Either pay your bills or just vacate.
Yeah, that's simple.
So
It's
I
as
didn't
simple as that.
basically I didn't listen to their stories as compared to the previous owner. He used to sit there and listen to their stories. So I was not in my office at all. I was working from home. I
Mm-hmm.
had an office. I kept the same office, but I was there only to sign a lease. So
Yeah.
I was not sitting there and listening to the tenant story. And every tenant has a story. If you start listening, then every tenant has a story to tell, to make an excuse not to pay the rent. So I never listened. I said, okay, I got to pay my bills.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay me the rent. If you
Yeah.
want to stay in our house, we are providing your property just for a small amount of money. So please pay your rents or vacate the property for somebody else who could pay the rent.
It's really as simple as that. It's not.
Simple as that. And
Yeah.
I did the evictions myself. If somebody was behind on the bills for 2 weeks, I would give them a notice. In
Mhm.
23 days, they would be out of the property.
That's the way to do it. Running, our experience running the property management company is very similar. I started by managing my own properties before we got to where we're at today with the company. And if you're not, um, rigid with them, and you don't have a set of expectations and a set of rules and deadlines that you follow, you will find them trying to take advantage of you or trying to make excuses. And in our situation, and frankly, I believe it's with anybody that owns more than 4 houses, if you start making exceptions, you start also running into fair housing law
Yep.
violations. So
Yep.
you don't
I
want to
never
get
did
stuck with
that.
that.
I read the fair laws, housing laws, and I never did that. I was fair to everyone, and the previous owner wasn't even charging late fee. So
Mm-mm.
it took me a while to train them.
Yeah.
Once they were trained, and I was very strict about it, if they didn't pay on time, there was late fee. It automatically stuck within the software.
Yep.
So I would never remove or waive or do anything with it. They could make excuses or whatever, but if they didn't pay, so I wouldn't. I mean, if I do with one and then I have to do with another, I have to do with the same person second time again. So I said, okay, this is business.
Yeah. No,
We
you.
have a charity. We have a charity where our emotions play.
Yes.
But when you are in business, you got to keep the emotions away. If you want to have a successful business, we do a lot of with our charity. We help people build their houses.
Mm-hmm.
We have 15 sponsored kids.
Mm-hmm.
So we do a lot with our charity where our emotions play the game. But if we let your emotions play at the gas station, then your gas station would be gone because everybody is hungry.
Yes, that is such wise knowledge that you just dropped on us right there. You can't let the emotions and keep your charity separate from your business. And no truer words have been spoken. I think that's great. Thank you for that little knowledge bomb you just dropped on us. And it's you've been on the PM side, right? You've been your own manager. Sometimes you do want to feel sorry for these people for the situations they're in or whatever. Um, you know cards life has dealt them, whether they may be fair or not, right? but you can't, because you, like I said, you've got your mortgage to pay, and us as a property management company, and then you as the GP or the LP, we have a responsibility to get you all the money because you guys have large notes and bills to pay as well.
Yeah, of course. That was my answer to them. I said, well, if you don't pay me, I won't be able to pay the bank, and the bank will kick me out. I'll have to kick you out.
Mm-hmm.
So I had I felt very sorry for them, but I had to kick out people, and when the temperature was in minus.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I had to bring the police
Yep.
to help me get it vacated. But I gave them a chance. I gave them a place to live. They have an obligation to pay the rent.
Yeah, it's a contract at the end of the day. It's a
It's a
legal
contract.
contract between two people that signed it willingly. As a property management company, and it is the goal of this podcast, we're trying to elevate property management as an industry, right? A lot of times it does get a bad reputation from landlords or property managers doing things illegally, right? Stuff they might, changing door locks, for instance, right? Like you can't do that, right? Or fair housing, or being poor landlords, right? Sometimes the mom and pop operators aren't always the best. The people that own and operate, they don't charge late fees, for instance, right? So there's things that's kind of developed as a reputation or deferred maintenance. So now you've had the opportunity to work with property managers as the GP on these deals, and where they're working for you and they're operating your property.
Yep.
So, what I kind of want to dig into with you is, sort of what have your experiences been, but what have the good property managers done? What are the things that you've seen that's been really good that other PMs should emulate to help bring the industry up? And what are some of the bad things you've seen that have kind of brought the industry down from your experiences?
Well, since we have larger properties, so we are dealing with larger property management companies as well.
Mm-hmm.
They are professional companies, larger companies. So, but there is a lot of difference between managing properties with a large company and managing by the landlords them or the landlords themselves, or the
Mm-hmm.
smaller companies, or one person management company.
Yeah.
So there are differences that the larger management companies do a lot of things professionally,
Mm-hmm.
and they have their own teams for the marketing. They have the construction team. They have their leasing staff and everyone in place. The benefit of me managing my single family portfolio is that I totally understand what they are saying, what they mean. So
Mm-hmm.
if I had not done that, I would say, hey, how come they are still in the unit and they haven't paid the rent? So I know exactly how they play games, how
Yeah.
they how they do it. So it's a lot easy for me to understand what the property management means.
Mm-hmm.
And how,
Okay.
if let's say our occupancy is low, I know how the ways how we can raise the property occupancy by giving a little bit more concessions and between doing things that normally a landlord would not do.
Mm-hmm. Okay. No, that's true, and having that insight can be very, very, very useful.
I'm glad I managed those properties myself, so I had a first-hand experience.
Yeah, because without that firsthand experience, like you said, you wouldn't know sometimes what they're talking about, or wouldn't understand the whys of what was going on.
Yep, yep,
So I think that
definitely.
you're 100% right, and that was a valuable experience for you. So you do tend to deal with more professional, established companies just by the scale of your properties, which range from 100 plus units, generally over 200 units.
150 units is our smallest property.
Okay, gotcha. So you've got some pretty sizable properties there. What have you seen? I mean, maybe you've only dealt with good property managers. Is that a fair statement that all the PMs that you've hired so far have been good and performed
Yeah,
adequately?
actually, they have been really good property management companies
Hmm.
that we are dealing with.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's great.
Yeah,
I'm glad that you haven't had the opposite
they
experience.
they they do a wonderful job. And another good thing that when I was managing my own properties, I did a lot of renovations.
Hmm.
So I learned about the construction, the terms, the scope of work, and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So I have ideas how much this should cost, how much that should cost. So I did some flips when I had these single family portfolio.
Okay.
I bought some houses and did some flips. I didn't touch those my 40 houses, but I was buying other houses and then doing some stuff on them and then reselling those houses. So I did
Okay.
that as well.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. So you learned the construction side of it as well.
Correct. Didn't
Have
do
you?
much because it wasn't worth for us doing it
Hmm.
because we were paying like 53% tax on them.
Ooh.
So it wasn't worth our time.
Yeah.
But we learned those things.
Yeah. No. You understand the process of the construction, how everything works, and
Yep.
the phases and steps within the construction.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you know, did you find a lot of value, or do your current PMs have construction in house, or are they relying heavily on subs?
No, they do in-house.
Okay. Have you seen a lot of benefit to that as opposed to using subcontractors?
Actually, I think that is beneficial because these are large companies, so they have a lot of network
Mm-hmm.
between the general contractors, so they know exactly who to talk to, who have done good job on their other properties because they have thousands and thousands of units under their belt.
Yeah.
So they exactly know who would be the best person to do this job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, that's, one thing that we've done is try to use, vertical integration within our company to help provide that service to our owners and, make their life a little bit easier. So, we've got construction in-house, we've got the network, we've got our own guys that do, most of the work, 90% of the work we do ourselves. And, it allows us to turn the units faster because our internal
Yeah.
communication's quicker. We don't have to worry about be beholden to another subcontractor's schedule as well. So
No, you're
yeah.
absolutely right, but these companies don't have their own construction
Okay.
companies in there, and I think that wouldn't be good either for us, maybe, because then there will be conflict of interest.
Hmm.
So we'll have to go get other quotes from somewhere else to make sure that they are charging us the right pricing.
Yeah.
So,
No,
so
that's a great point. Yeah.
yeah, I think the way we are set up, they bring us quotes, they get those approved, and then we see, okay, and then they give us suggestions. This company, even though they are a little expensive than this, we believe that they would do a better job.
Hmm. Okay.
So we have weekly meetings and we listen to them as well.
Hmm. Okay, great. Yeah, on properties this big, and it's been our experience as well that it's pretty common for the owners to want to have a weekly meeting or a twice a month meeting or once a month meeting with the PM team to kind of understand what's going on the property. That's something you guys do pretty regularly.
Yes,
Hmm.
we do weekly meetings Monday, Tuesday. That's
Okay.
all we do Monday, Tuesdays.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
What are you? I guess they're probably providing you some sort of metrics. I would assume, kind of
Yes.
financial health or health of the
Yes.
overall property. What are the top two or three metrics that you find most important?
Well, the occupancy,
Uh huh.
the collection in these days, especially
Yes.
the delinquency, people who are not paying, marketing. Those are some of the metrics that we look on regular basis, and renewals, leases,
Mhm.
traffic, so many things we
Yeah.
look at.
No, there's a lot of good metrics that you can track, and
Yeah.
every operator wants to maybe look at a little bit different metrics,
Oh
depending
yeah.
on what the goal of the property is and what's important to them internally as well.
We have an Excel sheet that we track all those metrics in.
Okay, gotcha. So, of all the PM companies, you've dealt with some really good ones. What are the things that one of them does? You don't have to say names or anything like that, but what is one thing that one company does that sets them apart, or that's the best value that they bring?
I'm not going to name them, but we have a company which is not too big.
Mm-hmm.
So they have 9, 10 properties under their belt,
Mm-hmm.
but it's owned by mom and daughter.
Okay.
They do a wonderful job. And I would say they're they're not like partners to us, they're like family to us.
Okay.
So they can call us, we can call them anytime. They'll respond. They'll have the numbers on very handy, and I mean, so easy to work because they are the owners.
Okay.
So we have a big company. We don't get that privilege with the big company.
Mm-hmm.
We can call the managers and the regionals, of course. They treat that properties like their own properties,
Mm-hmm. Okay. So they're emotionally
and
invested
they
in the.
manage two of our properties.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. No, that's awesome. And it's great when you find somebody like that. So really the thing that you really enjoy or that they do well is accessibility to the owner, right? They're accessible to their property. The owner has access to their property manager, and then just their knowledge, their ready knowledge of the property and when the
Yeah,
financial or occupancy health of it.
and the mother has 30 years of experience with the big company.
Mm. So she
So
really knows her stuff.
they are both very smart, and her husband is in the construction business,
Okay.
commercial construction business. So they are very knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
They are very easily accessible.
Okay, great, great.
So I love to work with them in more deals.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, hopefully you get that opportunity.
And
Great. Well,
they help us in finding more deals too.
oh, they're sourcing deals for you as well,
They're
finding
sourcing deals. Yep.
on or off market opportunities or
Mm.
something that another one of their owners is trying to sell.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. That's great.
And the property behind us is in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
They are the ones who brought us this deal.
Oh, great. Great. Well, it's a nice looking place. Kind of
Yeah.
wish we were there in that warm weather right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my opinion, property managers need to be more professional in the way they do business, right? Whether it's like your mom and daughter operation with their in-depth knowledge and their great care for the property, because and this is kind of what I say, we're managing millions or tens of millions or $100 million+ worth of properties, right? And so in my mind, that puts us at the level of we're dealing with the kind of money that accountants may be dealing with, that bankers may be dealing with, that other people may be dealing with. They have a very professional industry, right? Not
Yep.
kind of the mom and pop scrub operations that you sometimes get and people doing stuff by paper, right? We're dealing with people's biggest investments, their biggest liabilities, or we're dealing with general partners that are responsible for the $1, 2, 3, $5 million that they raised to buy these properties. So they're beholden to 5, 10, 30 other people that have invested a good chunk of their life savings with this property. So once we start to look at it, we realize how many lives we're impacting for their financial future as property managers. So, it's something that we take very seriously, understanding the impact of what we're doing. So with that in mind, KK, what is something that property managers need to do to elevate the industry? That's kind of my go-to question is what can property managers do to elevate the industry and be more professional?
One thing I have noticed with all the management companies that I think they could improve on. So, for example, we are replacing the monument sign. Just to give you an example, they should have a deadline. Okay, it will be done by this date.
Okay.
I like doing stuff that way so that it doesn't linger on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's bringing a court, he will bring a court, and then we'll do this, and then we'll do this, and then we'll get it approved. They should be able to tell us everything up front. This monument sign is going to be replaced by another in 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
It will take us so many days to get the drawings, so many days to get it approved, so many days to get a permit from the building and the contractor in place and lighting in place. So that thing I have seen, we are discussing every week. Have the GFCI been replaced? Next time it's on the list again. Next time it's on the list again.
Okay.
So they have some kind of excuse every week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. I like to put a deadline to everything.
Okay, gotcha.
Here's the time, get it done with this time. I like that. I mean, it's not, I know everything sometimes, even if I do it, it gets delayed for some reason or the other, or some unexpected things that come up. while you're doing something. But if you don't put a deadline to something, then it just linger on.
Hmm. Okay.
I would like to put deadlines.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I can totally understand where you're coming from on that, having been on both sides of those discussions before. And so property managers can come to the table, they can set deadlines for rehab, for capital expenditures, for general improvements, for delivery of whatever that may be. That's
Yeah.
something that we can do to continue to increase the reputation and professionalism of the industry as a whole.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation for everyone. I mean, same thing takes, I mean, why don't you get two construction companies if one construction company is slowing? Get
Hmm.
another one.
Yeah.
Get a third one. Meet your goals.
Yeah.
When you have a goal, then find ways to meet that goal. Don't just say, oh, there were three people, one of them got sick, one of them went on vacation, so we couldn't turn over these units. So I don't like that kind of excuses. Get another company. I mean, they're going to charge you the same amount of money, so get somebody. And we do like to do that, and we have done in some of our properties. We have two different companies renovating our units at the same time.
Hmm.
So that way we can compare as well the timing, and then we can compare the dollar amount as well,
Yeah, and the
and
quality of the
and the
product.
quality of the work, of course.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So no, that's great. So KK, looking forwards, what are your goals in the real estate industry? What are you hoping to continue to achieve?
Well, so far I have been doing deals by partnering with other good operators. I've learned a lot. I have my own investor base, and I have my own team. I have people standing waiting for me to partner.
Hmm.
So I'm shooting on doing my own deals as
Okay,
a key sponsor.
okay, great. So you want to be the guy that's leading the head on the syndication on the GP side.
Correct.
All right, awesome. Well, that's
That's my goal
exciting.
for 2021.
Get you 2021. You want to do one of them, or are you gonna do more than one?
At least one.
At least one. Okay. All right.
At
Well,
least one. I
you
mean,
heard
I
it.
may partner with somebody else to do another deal, but
Mhm.
I'm shooting to do at least one deal this year.
Great, great. Well, good luck on that. I hope 2021 is a great year for you. And
Thank you.
I really appreciate your time here today and the wisdom that you dropped on us from your experience in all different aspects of real estate and business. If people want to learn more about you or get in touch with you, if they want to find out more about some of your deals, what's the best way they can do that?
They can go to our website and fill the web form there, growrichcapital.com,
Okay.
or they can find me. I have a Facebook group, 10X Multifamily Investment Group. I have 5,500 members. There's a lot of knowledge in that group, very knowledgeable people throwing good knowledge there every day. And or they can reach me out by emailing me at kk at growrichcapital.com or info@growrichcapital.com.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you again so much for being here. And I wish you continued success with your 2021 investing ventures.
Thank you very much, and I hope it helps your audience as well.
I'm sure it will. There's no way it can't.